Hey, I'm experiencing technical issues over here too. I grabbed the dead lighter, so shit.
Oh, man.
That's why I always have to have a
Recording in
backup plan.
progress.
All right. Well, dead lighters aside, is everybody ready already?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Let's hit it. Hello, hello, and welcome back to our humble little podcast. This is Atlantis After Dark, the greatest place in all of cyberspace. You know, the latest ban on porn in Texas is going to lead to a lot of out-of-work hands, ranch hands. All right, that was stupid and bad and terrible. You guys know what time it is. I'll tell you what, I'm ready to go already. You guys are too. So let's not waste a lot more time and let's introduce all of today's All-Stars. Warming up in the bullpen. The other day we were talking about St. Patrick's Day and he said, I don't like everyone appropriating my culture on this day. And I asked him, why, are you Irish? He said, no, I'm an alcoholic. It's Biff by Adam West. What's up, dude?
I'm both.
You're both.
I'm Irish and an alcoholic.
Unashamedly both.
Yeah, top of the morning to you.
There you go.
He's got the genetics to keep his liver alive.
My liver is.
Are you making anything good for St. Patty's Day today? I know my wife has got a corned beef cooking upstairs. So
Yeah, no. I'm not doing anything Irish specific. I'm actually doing the big Irish menu item, buffalo wings. So, I'm smoking some wings later today.
who doesn't remember that traditional Irish dish?
Yeah, exactly.
You paused after the big Irish.
You know, I have an off the wall question,
Sure.
and I never did any research on this, but I figure you would probably know, Biff. Why are they called buffalo wings?
Because they originated in Buffalo, New York.
That is okay. Thank you.
As the story is told.
Legend
Their
has it.
greatest
Yes.
contribution to humanity thus far. Thank you, Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
I always wondered
about
that.
Were you wondering, like, is there
That
like a
was
secret
harsh.
spice in all the buffalo roast?
Well, I mean, of course, I know they're chicken, but I'm just like, how does a buffalo get named
Yeah, I
with
know.
a piece of chicken?
Some guy up there was just like, hey, what if I take this Red Hot and mix it with butter? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I know, right?
There's a bar in Buffalo called the Anchor Bar, and that's what the legend has it, is that's where it came about, that a mother, son, and a bunch of his friends came in late one night, and they wanted something to eat real quick, and she threw a bunch of frozen chicken wings into the fryer and threw some stuff together in a sauce, and that's where they originated. Anchor Bar, Buffalo, New York. So they
Have
are
you been
not,
there?
for all you PETA lovers out there, that we are not eating buffalo. So
Have you been to that bar then, Biff? It sounds like you
I have not.
No,
I have not.
okay.
I've seen it on shows. I've seen it, like, all the different
Food
food
Network
shows.
shows,
They
yeah.
always go there,
Yeah. Guy Fieri.
yeah, stuff like that.
Well, we're damn glad to have you today, pal. Next
Glad to be here.
up, he is the Sorcerer Supreme of cyberspace. He's been a very busy man. Last week, he launched a series of books at teenagers. Jesus. Let me try that again. Last week, he launched a series of books aimed at teenagers, and he managed to hit 3 of the little shits. It's Retpmus. What's happening, Big Kahuna?
Oh, same old, same old. I love your little roast. They always make me crack a smile and laugh because they're pretty good.
Well,
Keep
good.
them coming, man.
You know what? This is an honest truth. I'm really thinking about hanging them up.
Oh, really?
I can't keep doing them every week, every
Well,
other week.
don't do 'em
It's
every-
so
do 'em every
hard
other
to come up
week.
with new stuff every other week. You have no idea. Like, I'm sitting there going, duh, brain no worky.
Oh,
I know. I'm
so
I'm
good at
this
it. You're
close.
very talented.
I'm this close. I'm saying, God, we got to have a better opening gig than this. But I appreciate it. You know what, Rep, for you, I'll keep trying.
All right, thank
I'll-
you.
I will.
Thank you.
I'll
It's
keep
my
trying.
favorite part.
It's really,
Yeah.
really good. Like,
Well,
it's the magic behind this.
I'm
Thank you.
looking
I
forward to the
appreciate
day I got brought in as this fucking guy.
oh, oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Since we're going there, what about this fucking guy?
Yes.
He's the gangster of ganja. Last night he was at the gym when he found a hole in one of his trainers. It was big enough to put his finger into. Anyway, she's made a complaint now, and he's been banned from the gym for life. It's Sekju. Welcome, buddy.
Damn. I was thinking in my head, like, the fuck is he talking about? Trainers? I was like, are those pants? Like, what?
No, trainers. You know, like shoes.
Oh,
You don't ever
like
call
training
shoes
okay,
trainers?
got it. I'm familiar. I just wasn't thinking in that context. But yes,
Maybe that's not an
on.
East Coast thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, no, I've heard it before. I just wasn't
Okay.
thinking that when you said trainers. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, I thought it completely different. I was thinking like at a gym and there was a trainer and she was there and he put his finger somewhere he shouldn't.
Well, that was
he
sort
heard
of,
it correctly. He heard it correctly.
yeah, that was what was implied. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm just glad he went with the finger. I was waiting to say I was going to stick my dick in it or something like that. So I'm just glad it was just the finger.
Just the tip. Just the tip. Oh my God. Glad to have you on the show today, buddy.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Returning this week, everybody knows this next All-Star. Last week, his niece was doing her homework when he asked, when she asked, how do you spell scrotum? And he said, oh, you should have asked me last night. It was on the tip of my tongue. It's Tewty. Welcome back to the show, buddy.
I love it. I love it.
Glad to
My
have
slut
you.
era is calming down a little bit, but that's okay. We had a really good time this year. I had a minor STD scare in December.
Uh-oh.
I caught E. coli and had like really bad diarrhea for like 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
And my doctor was like, are you sure this was like some bad seafood? And I was like, yes. It's I had about a week's worth of anxiety because she made me get STD tested and I didn't get the results for like a week. And I was like, do I have AIDS? Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny. This week's episode of Atlantis After Dark is brought to you by Trojan Condoms.
No, but we're good. Everybody's happy now.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I love it. Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad that your schmeckle's not going to fall off, and everybody's kosher. All right. All right, buddy. Welcome back to the show. Dan, glad to have you. Last but not least, from the hidden isle of Themyscira, last week she rubbed a lamp and out popped a genie. The genie said, "Oh, master, you have freed me from the lamp. I now grant you 2 wishes." She said, 2? I thought there was 3. And the genie said, "Look down at your chest." When she looked down, she gasped and she said, My tits, they're perfect. The genie said, Yeah, I've been doing this game a long time, kid. What are your other 2 wishes? It's Witty Amazon. What's happening out there on Paradise Island?
You know, I could work with 2 wishes.
You
I
could
would
work with
multiply
2.
those in a second. So
Awesome. What would be the other 2 wishes? And don't say world peace and
first-
fucking other shit. Yeah.
no, because
Oh,
I'm not.
fuck world
I'm
peace.
not
Come on now.
like a Miss Universe. In a Miss Universe contest, they always wish for world peace and stuff like that. It's never
Yeah.
gonna work. So
Yeah.
you better wish for stuff for yourself.
That's right. You
'Cause that
better.
He's
will-
not
will
here for
work
the
perfectly.
pageantry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I would wish for?
What would you wish for?
I only need one. I only need one wish. to
All the
make
gin you can
everything else
drink.
come through. No,
Oh.
I would wish that I had a remote control that could pause, rewind, and fast forward life.
That's
Movie
an
clip.
Adam
Like in that
Sandler
movie
movie.
Click?
Movie
That's
clip.
an Adam Sandler
Yeah.
movie.
It was before that. It was actually an episode of The Twilight Zone where this guy had it, and he was like in the supermarket, and this hot woman walks by, and he's like pauses, and then he's like he starts going closer to her, and then he's like, "Oh no, this is too creepy," and just no. But you could, you get all the money in the world that way. Just become a professional gambler.
Yeah.
Rewind before the game, bet on
Well,
the
heck,
game.
all you need to do is wait till the lottery's up to like $1 billion and then rewind the
Yeah,
numbers.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's
Too much work.
that would be my
That's
one,
too much work.
One time and it's over.
No, one time.
Uh,
That
You know,
would
the
be
whole
my wish.
the whole world peace wish thing, I don't think it would make our society great at all. I think we need a wish like more of a perfect balance, because if we only know true good, then we never know, we won't appreciate it and we wouldn't really know anything else.
Yeah,
So
how
you
do we
got
know who the bad guys are?
exactly. So everything would kind of like come to an end in a way. You wouldn't have villains and things like that. So I think there needs to be a perfect balance between the two
Yeah.
to make a perfect society.
See, my
Maybe.
worry is in the tradition of the djinn is that there's always a twist. It's like a
Yes.
monkey's paw thing. So it's like, sure, you asked for world peace and you get it for what, 5 minutes?
Right?
Like, you gave your world peace.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, and we're back to fighting.
It's like that
Imagine
other.
if you gave me nice tits for just 5 minutes, that would be worth it.
Right? Exactly. Bullshit.
No, Sekju would be like this. World peace would be like, now everybody in the world is deaf.
Right. You can't hear anyone talking.
Right.
We're not fighting because
Oh.
nobody knows what anyone's saying.
I don't know. That would be horrendous for a guy like me. I couldn't listen to music anymore.
I can't believe in this group of superhero fans, though, nobody would wish for superpowers, because I'd be like, give me telekinesis. Because
Oh, yeah.
telekinesis is like the route to every other superpower, so give me telekinesis.
No, I think I'd like the ability to read minds.
Oh, what telekinesis?
Oh no, you wouldn't want that.
No.
No, I can
No,
shut
no,
it off when I
everybody's
want
thinking?
to. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's better. If you could turn
I can
it
shut
off,
it off when I want
like-
to, but not yeah. Nobody would want that constant barrage of just.
Yeah, but that
that
would be bad because there's a lot of times people have negative thoughts about somebody else just in the spur of the moment, and it's not really what they feel. So you would always get those negative thoughts, and you would think people always thought down on you or didn't like you
Yeah,
or had
it would ruin a
problems.
lot of relationships and stuff.
Yeah, that would be kind of like a bad power. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if you wanted to use it, like if you were a hostage negotiator or you needed to do something to find something of like super of importance. That I could see that, but
Or
I
if you're a
wouldn't.
professional
I
poker
stand
player.
right. I stand by my word.
I gotcha.
But telekinesis, I'm sorry.
I'm a
Telekinesis-
supervillain. I'm not a superhero. I'm a supervillain.
Oh, damn.
I'm the AB. That's
Okay.
right. The
I
evil
gotcha.
AB.
Who would be
Not all of us.
stopped by the world peace wish.
What would happen?
For 5 minutes.
I'd be all super
Memories.
evil, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, "Pew! Flowers, rainbows."
I always thought the ability of compulsion would be pretty awesome. It could be used evilly, but it could be used
Yeah.
for good as well.
I'm trying to think which number that is in Umbrella Academy. Because that one girl has it, Rumor, or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, rumor has it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's literally what they were going for, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think my superpower would be pretty lame, but I would love it, and it would be to be super healthy,
Oh,
like
Mm.
never
Yeah.
get sick again.
right, especially
Always
now.
have the best metabolism. Live for a good amount of time, and then die at a good age. Like
Does that include
Yeah.
resistance to STDs?
that is 112%
Perfect. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Completely immune to all. If there's a crab in your bush, it disregards it entirely.
Those hungry little
What do you
critters.
envision is your like super heroic role though, like the super personal trainer, or like
Yeah.
like what are you
I'd
gonna be
just
doing?
be
there?
so athletic that I
Okay.
could like fuck your shit up real fast.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh my God.
E. coli man.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that power set exists in the Legion of Superheroes already.
It sounds lame, but honestly, I would love my life.
No, it doesn't sound lame at all.
I got influenza A as well recently. Like I got sick after sick after sick,
Oh,
and I was like, I normally in flu season I don't get the flu, I get a cold. And so I don't normally just like go out of my way to get an influenza shot, and I should have fucking done it this year because for like a week I was dying. I went to the ER on the 4th day crying. I was like, why won't it stop? And they were like, because it sucks. And they
Hey.
wouldn't give me a pill, and I was
Well,
like,
by then you're too late for the Theraflu. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
They were like, it's too late. You have to just ride it out.
it's nothing to joke about. I remember having the flu so bad that I couldn't make it from my bedroom to the bathroom because it felt like the whole world was spinning and I had to like crawl on the ground. I mean, it was horrible.
It is awful. It is not
Yeah.
fun at all. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was literally dying. I was like waking up in pools of my own sweat every day,
Mhm.
having hot and cold flashes. I was like, oh my God, this sucks.
I got the flu once when I was traveling for an inspection and didn't realize that I had it, and then woke up like deathly ill and had to drive 3 hours home to get back.
Oh my
Ugh.
Just
god.
like I
Ah.
had to pull over like halfway and vomit on the side of the road and stuff, and just like sleep in my car for a half hour and just
That
like
sounds
it was
awful.
rough. It was a rough trip home.
Well, I'll tell you guys what. Why don't we start kicking this show off before Tewty dies? And
20
let's
minutes
get
in.
into some.
I'll be the first one out of all of you, I promise.
I don't know about that. Let's get into some DC content today. So this week's assignment was very, very fun. Hopefully you guys all had fun doing it too. Last week we wanted to talk about what your favorite DC movies of all time were, your top 3. This week we've challenged you to come up with your top favorite DC TV series of all time, your top 3, and they could be live action or animated, either way, right? I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say, so I don't want to waste a lot more time. And I want to start directly with our returning champion, Mr. Tewty. If you have a number 3,
Yes.
I would love to hear it.
My number 3 is the animated cartoon Static Shock.
Oh.
I really enjoyed that one as a kid. It gave me a lot of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
It also, as a little white boy from the Midwest, it introduced me to, new things that I don't ever think about.
Right.
And there was a lot of like realness in that show. Like I remember an episode where the sidekick like got shot, and he specifically was like trying to make it impact our head, like, hey, this is not cool to get shot, like this hurts a lot, like please don't romanticize this in your brain. Like he didn't specifically say it, but like the way he was speaking about being shot was very real.
Right.
And it was like slightly a dark show with a fun undertone or overtone, I mean. So I really loved it. It was great.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let me then take it around the horn to, who do I want to say? Let's go with Biff. He's right below Tewty. What's your number 3, pal?
My number 3 is Gotham.
All right.
I thought Gotham, I know a lot of people didn't like it. I thought Gotham did a really good job at kind of the very young Bruce Wayne. They introduced a very young Selena Kyle.
Right.
The Joker as a kid, what made the Joker, kind of the origin stories from the kid's perspective, and a lot of this. And they didn't even start the show off with Martha and Thomas dying like they always do in every Batman thing, but he was a kid, and so it was young Bruce Wayne. I think they did a very good job covering the entire Batman universe throughout this show. Everything from Carmine Falcone, Sal Maroni, Ra's al Ghul, Court of Owls. Obviously, Joker, Penguin, and Catwoman were very prevalent in it. But they did Scarecrow. They did Lazarus Pit. Like it touched on every single part of the beginning of Gotham as a disaster.
Yeah.
And I think it was just really a well done show, to the point where we talk about watchability. I watched it like a couple years ago for the second time. Went through from just 1 through the end. So that's my number 3. Oh, but by the way, I want to give a honorable mention really quick. I won't talk about the show, but the reason I bring it up is because I want to bring awareness to it, because a lot of people don't even know it exists. And I thought it was extremely well done and a really fun show. Was Pennyworth.
Oh,
The origin story of Alfred Pennyworth. So if you haven't seen that, check it out, because it was really cool.
Is that on
I thought it would
HBO
make your
Max?
list.
What?
I thought Pennyworth will make your list.
It was number 4. It was number
Oh.
4.
Is that on HBO Max?
What's that?
Is that Pennyworth? Is that on HBO Max?
I think it is.
I believe
Yes.
it
Or
is.
it was.
Okay.
It was, at least.
It
But-
was.
But Pennyworth's a fun show.
Perfect. Well, that is a hell of a pick. I liked Gotham too. I didn't like. I struggled to remember what her character's name was. The blonde love interest for Gordon in the first season, where she kind of went crazy. Like, she was great after she went crazy, but her character before that was just ugh, I can't wait for her to go bye-bye. And then she went bye-bye and she came back great.
Barbara
So,
Keane.
That's who
Was
it
it?
was. Yes. It was the Barbara Keane character. Yes. Yeah. But anyways, I digress. I'll not steal Mr. Biff's thunder. Retpmus, give us your top, your bottom pick, your number 3 pick there, buddy.
This was very difficult. I mean, it really was because there are a lot of shows out there. Before I say third, do have to say honorable mention. I want to say honorable mention to all the first few seasons of the original CW, Arrow, Flash, Gotham, all those shows. The first few seasons of those shows were fantastic, but it was such a bad decline,
Yeah.
later on. So that's why it doesn't reach my top 3, but they definitely were fantastic in those early seasons. They nailed them. But for number 3, I'm going to have to go with Smallville. Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, Kristen Kirk, John Glover. I've always loved John Glover.
Oh, yeah.
And John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard. Back in the day, I used to love John Schneider. I loved him in the show. I mean, all the episodes, of course, they had its ups and downs. Some things were just completely poorly done. Other things were fantastically done. I mean, you're talking the show, the longest running TV show of all DC shows. It lasted 217 episodes. That is a lot of episodes, 10 years. And it went across a generation, a few generations of, of different people. It like hit, and I thought it was very well done. It was family oriented. So it wasn't like excluding the young kids or excluding the adults. All of us could sit down and watch it and not have to worry about it. No hidden agendas behind it. It was just good family entertainment. And trying to tell the story in a different view of like this high schooler with this secret, like how does he, protect the people he loves, but still protect his family, in the world from knowing who he truly is, as eventually, he becomes Superman in the end. And I just love the whole story arc, how it was done. And that's why it reaches my number 3.
That's a great pick. I love that pick. I loved some of the things they did on that show, especially with Zod. The Zod stuff was really.
Helen Blue was good.
Yeah, yeah.
I disliked Doomsday though. I did not like the Doomsday story.
Yeah, that was not that great.
Too.
There were parts of the show that were great, and other parts that struggled, like with any show.
Yeah.
My favorite part about that show was like the entire first season, where like they were just creating random villains that might have had
right.
villains. Like it was still like, I don't remember if it was like late 90s or early 2000s when it came out, but like
2001 to 2011.
Yeah. They kind of, that first year was still before a lot of like media parental guidance kind of shit flew in. And like there was an episode where in the first season where like a guy got ice powers and he had to suck it out of people to stay warm or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I
And he
remember
like
that.
walks into this girl's bathroom while she's taking a shower, and she thinks it's totally fine at first, like she's like totally gonna fuck him or whatever. And they kind of make hints at that. There's a lot of sexual tension in like the first few seasons, and then he just kills her. And I was like, damn, this is brutal, but also like sexy and dark. And yeah, there's a lot of, even though it had like nothing to do with DC stories, it was really good for its time, I think. Even though it was trash. It was trash.
Amy Adams on that show at one point? She was like a cannibal, like she was like eating people or sucking out all their body fat or something too. Was her?
There's a lot of Smallville cameos.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Freak of the week.
Yeah, that's exactly what they called it.
I
Freak
know.
of the week. Yeah.
Retmus, did you say that Dukes of Hazzard was a DC show?
No, John Schneider.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's a call back to last week there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Uncle Jesse's superpower. He can drink you under the table. All right. Well, no, and I love that. And I always thought that Tom Welling would have been a good Superman, but it just, for whatever reason, he never wanted to do it. So,
yeah, he's over it. But I would say we've talked about a lot of stuff, but the most important thing, I think we're not talking about it. They had the best chemistry between Lois and Clark. It was from Smallville,
Yes.
Mhm.
and the
Mhm.
best Lex Luthor is absolutely the one from
Oh.
Smallville. No
Michael
contest there.
yeah.
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 100% agree with you.
Michael Rosenbaum nailed
Yeah.
that role.
Yeah.
And the girl who played Lois was the best Lois out of all the Loises.
She really
was.
Yeah,
was.
she was, and the chemistry between the two of them was good because when they had that episode in the Arrowverse, they bring back the old cast. They
Mhm.
still have the best
Yeah.
chemistry despite
Yeah.
not being the current Superman.
Yeah. She was
Yeah.
so energetic and upbeat and ready to kick some ass. And I was
Yeah.
like, God, I love this bitch. She's so great.
Yeah. Spunky. Like Lois is supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
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 But a lot of
Yeah.
them are like docile. Like Amy Adams kind of felt docile.
Yeah.
And I was like, this doesn't feel like Lois to me.
Yeah, because she was supposed to be a go-getter, reporter, hardcore, and Amy Adams didn't feel that way. It was just like the love interest, damsel in distress role.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But good pick, Retmus. God.
Thank you.
Love
Absolutely.
Smallville. Let's move it over to Witty. What is your third favorite DC TV series of all time?
Well, I have a question. I did my research for this, but I can't quite figure out if The Boys can count as a DC content or not. Because if it does, I have to change my list.
I thought The Boys was a completely different.
Yeah, I thought it was independent. Isn't that?
Well,
it-
it actually
It pops
believe
up on every list that if you search DC TV shows,
it
The
is.
Boys
It is.
The Boys is on
Oh.
all
Yeah.
of them, and I got
Okay.
confused.
I can tell you how this order goes. I already know about this. It's actually Dynamite Entertainment is the comic book, but it is owned by Wildstorm
Wildstorm, yeah, that's what's
DC
showing up.
and Dynamite Entertainment Comics. Those are the three that are all grouped together. So it's technically in a roundabout way, DC. Very roundabout.
Well, the same way that like Vertigo and stuff is
Yeah.
part of DC too,
Yeah.
but it's like the stories don't really connect.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? If I would have considered those in scope for our comic discussion, then I think it's fair that we put The Boys in discussion for this, because if it ties back to DC, it's a DC property. So well, it's not a DC property, but
So is it in?
I think you
I
should.
think
let it
so.
In. Yeah,
I
based
think
on
it's
that,
in, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah,
Okay, so then Gotham drops to fourth, and since
No
Christopher mentioned
repeats.
that it could be a repeat. I don't know what you guys are gonna pick next, but yeah, I was gonna pick Gotham for third. What Biff said, I agree with it completely. I forgot to mention my favorite character though, the Riddler. I think that guy was just absolutely fantastic, and
Yeah.
the concept of the series is different from any other DC series ever made. So that was going to be my third pick. But since The Boys is in, my number 3 will be Titans. I think
Titans.
Titans, yeah. The representation of a young super team. We in the movies they always go for the Justice League, and I think they picked a great team to make a. It's not exactly a teen show. It's more like a young adult, their AIM type show. Good villains, great cast, great action sequences, the suits, everything. I think they did pretty great. Like Retpmus says, the first series is always the best, and that's true for I think for every DC show and every other TV show out there, except for The Boys maybe. But I think it's a really solid show, and we get to see characters that you don't see in live action. In the movies, because in the movies it's always Batman and Joker, and the TV shows give us a lot more to explore. So that's
Yeah.
my pick.
I think it's a fantastic pick.
All right, so I did a couple research real quick to clarify. It is technically not a DC property now, but it was the first 6 issues were under Wildstorm, which was DC Comics a subdivision of it. So it's definitely started as DC Comics. So that's why I say it should definitely fall into it.
Sure.
because that's how it started.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where it is now. It did start there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like I said, it's allowed. We allow it.
Fantastic show.
Otherwise, Titans will be promoted to number 2.
No, we can keep Titans as your number 3 pick, and I have to admit I have not seen that show. It's always on my list of things that I want to watch, and for whatever reason, I know what the reason is because I'm constantly watching wrestling now. But
They did a really good job of explaining characters that don't get a lot of love. Like Hawk and Dove's introduction made me
Yes.
want
Yep.
Hawk and Dove in DC Legends. When
Oh yeah.
Right.
it was a very good introduction to those two characters.
I think I did see that. Like I saw a couple of episodes of it, and I thought it was good. I just haven't gotten around to watching any of the rest of it. I did see Hawk and Dove. Now that you mentioned it.
That was that was a good call, Tewty, because that was the most enjoyable part I had in Titans was the introduction of Hawk, because I was like, oh my God, I'm Hawk. I'm this physically destroyed former athlete that just turned to alcohol and anything just to ease my pain. And I was like, oh my God, I relate to this character more than any other superhero ever.
Yeah, that was a very good introduction. Absolutely.
So I'm glad Biff has a hero.
And a role model.
A role model, someone to look up to in this life.
You know he becomes a supervillain eventually, right, Biff?
No, I don't. But
yeah,
that's fine. I skew towards bad guys anyway.
Well, there you go.
yeah. Biff's great heel turn over there. I got too much wrestling on the brain. All right, Mr. Sekju, let's hit your number 10. And by the way, we've taken. I don't want to rush it, but we've taken a long time on this
Try to be faster
podcast.
on
I
number
know.
twos.
No. Don't be faster on your number 2s. You should never
Gotta
speed
rush that
those up,
number
sir.
two, get it done faster.
Never speed
all
those
right.
up.
All right. So mine is going to be actually, I want to throw an honorable mention out there real quick because I don't know if it'll get mentioned, but Young Justice rules. And I wanted to put it in my top 3, but I couldn't find a spot for it. So my number 3 is going to be a spun off from Titans. I love Doom Patrol because that show is so fucking weird. And it's so, like Tewty was saying, characters that don't normally get love or attention, they just made them compelling. Like I never gave a fuck about Robot Man before, but then like following Doom Patrol, I was really interested in his story. And they just, again, pushing boundaries with just weird ass stories and crazy things. Just a really cool series. And again, it was spun off from Titans. They originally meet Beast Boy, when he's with the Doom Patrol, and then he joins the Titans. So I don't know, that one's definitely up there. It's something I enjoyed. I'm glad that it got to wrap up the show because they knew it was ending, so they gave it a proper ending. It's not like a show that just ends and you're like, oh shit, I was hoping there would be another season. Like they knew it was ending and it got a good like finite ending. So I really liked the Doom Patrol. I thought it was a great show, very easy to rewatch, and that's why it's my number 3.
Yeah, it's super rare to find a show that gets a proper closing, but especially a DC show.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know anything about Doom Patrol because I've never watched it.
Well,
I
can't-
watched it. I watched it all. I loved it.
And it
Did
never
ya?
got shitty. That's the thing. Like I love the Flash on CW, like Retpmus brought up earlier, but it got shitty eventually, and Arrow got shitty eventually. And like there was no point in Doom Patrol where I was like, this is shitty, this sucks, I don't want to watch it.
What season did Flash get shitty? In your opinion, I know where I felt it got shitty, but where did you think it got shitty?
Where do I think it got shitty?
Yeah.
I would say season 5.
5, really? You had held on
I
that
think
long?
right after the Thinker. Right after
After the Thinker, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was the
I
best.
agree.
Season 3.
I
I
say-
didn't like Thinker.
I say one season earlier than
So
that.
do I. I'm on
Yeah.
board with Biff. Thinker wasn't great to me. I thought that was crap.
No.
But
Well, I didn't think Thinker was amazing. I just thought that it wasn't as bad as what came afterwards. Like I feel like that was your tipping point.
It
Like
started
Thinker was
down,
the
going
last
down.
decent
Yeah.
villain, basically.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just remember
I hated
near
Mirror
the end.
Master. Oh, they ruined Mirror Master for me. That whole thing was trash.
I
Not that
just
he's a
remember.
super popular character, but Jesus, that was bad.
I just remember during the second to last season that it was just still set to record on my TV, And me and my wife are watching an episode, and I just shut the TV off in the middle of it. And I'm like, we're done with this show.
Was it when they beat the villain with the power of love?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember what it
Wonder
was.
Woman, okay, we're not doing that.
I still think seasons 1 through 3 were the best.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, easily.
Same with Arrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
1 through 3. That was it.
That's why I had to give all those honorable mentions for those earlier ones, because they were just fantastic. If they ended right there, those would be on the top of the list.
I don't think Arrow declined at the level of the other ones, though.
No, it didn't.
No.
But it still
It was a
It was-
gradual decline,
Yeah.
yes, but it did decline.
Yeah. Don't get me started on Legends of Tomorrow.
Well, see, but that one only started off corny and stayed corny the whole time. So it's like you knew what you were getting into that with every week.
When one of the seasons ended, when the big demon boss got beat by a fucking Furby,
Right.
You were
Bebo. Right.
That was like
this
season
is the
2,
tone of the
wasn't
show.
it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so be it.
Insult Bebo.
Bebo.
Yeah.
Give me a breako.
They were just trying to do the Ghostbusters thing on that episode when Bebo comes out in the city and he's like,
Yeah.
"Bebo!"
They did a Captain Planet style Bebo. Like they fucking all got together, held hands, and were like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Voltron, Captain
Summoned
Planet,
him.
Power Rangers, you name it. It was all mashed up.
Yeah.
See, I love that. That show wasn't meant to be good, though. That show was meant to be.
You weren't
corny, so,
supposed
like,
to take it seriously, so that's
Right.
why it worked.
Exactly, like it was meant to be made fun of.
Yeah.
So I
See,
don't know. That's why it
that-
worked for me.
Firestorm was one of my favorite characters, and I think they ruined Firestorm though.
Yeah, they did him dirty in that one. But I mean, the Flash kind of started it off that way with like essentially killing Ronnie Raymond
Yeah.
super early in the process. Like
Yeah,
it
what
just,
was up with that?
yeah, I don't know. That to me, the bigger issue was how they handled him on the Flash, and then him transitioning into Legends didn't work out because of that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Yeah.
on to number 2s, right? We got to hustle along, right, AB?
Well,
No, we need AB's 3.
Oh yeah, we need.
oh,
your
you need
I'm
my
sorry.
3. Well, I'll
I
tell
didn't
you
even
what.
skip my
We
butt-
can make
my
this
bad.
episode as long as you want today. I don't care if we run way over time. So,
Okay.
it's just going to be a very long episode. So, those of you at home who want to, hit the pause button and go get yourself something to eat or get a snack, use the bathroom, feed the cat,
Functional lighter.
find a good lighter. That's right.
Damn it.
Anything, you might want to take advantage of that now. But no, my third one, and I'll be very brief with this, is a very sentimental pick for me, and it's sentimental for a lot of reasons, and it's because it was the first superhero I ever saw in live action anywhere, and that is Wonder Woman 77. When I was just a little boy.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was the first ever superhero TV show that I ever watched, that I religiously watched, that I could not wait to watch. There was other shows that were on, like Incredible Hulk was on afterwards, and Spider-Man was on a different night of the week, and those were good. I like Spider-Man too, but it was just lame. Wonder Woman was the shit, the total shit. When we all went outside to play, I wasn't Superman, I was Wonder Woman. I got myself one of those Burger King crown fucking hats. You know what I'm talking about? Those old 70s paper crown hats. And I tore all the crowns off except for the one little piece so it looked like Wonder Woman's tiara. And I wore my tight blue skin pants, my white short shorts with the blue trim, and that was my underwear. And that was what I did. I went out with my lasso, my bracelets, and I was Wonder Woman. That was what I did. And I could not wait every week to see what she was going to. She always, blocking bullets with her bracelets. Fucking great. The thing is, like, I could still watch it today. It's kind of corny. I did watch the first episode, the pilot episode, where Diana goes from Paradise Island. They didn't even call it Themyscira. They just called it Paradise Island, right? From Paradise Island back to man's world. And the transition is, rather quick, but nevertheless, I mean, even for its day, just for that reason alone, for the fact that I'll never have another experience watching a DC television show like that ever again, where I'm really in belief that a woman is stopping bullets with her hands, then yeah, suspend disbelief just for a little bit. But that's it. But yeah, that's my number 3, and I'm sticking to it.
I
Great
did
show.
some research a second ago. I Googled it, and it does look like that she found that genie and got those perfect tits. No,
Sure
but
did.
I agree. I never fully watched the show. I've seen clips. I've seen people talk about it, and they do all have that same like nostalgia, the
Yeah.
same love for that show. They put a lot of effort into it back then,
Yeah.
and it shows in the people that still talk about it today.
Yeah. I prefer the CBS version to the ABC version, but that's just me. I know people don't really understand the difference. It's, World War II and then post World War II. So don't ask me how. But
Right.
yeah, suspend disbelief, right? But that's my number 3. And for the record, my number 2 and my number 1. I don't have an honorable mention because I had solidified 3 that I really wanted to focus on today. But my number 2 and number 1 picks may be somewhat controversial, but we'll get to those in a little bit. For now, I want to restart the screen. I'm just going to go in the order you are on my screen, so it makes it easier for me to keep track of y'all. But Mr. Tewty, what's your number 2? Give me your number 2, sir.
My number 2 is Sekju's honorable mention, Young Justice. I fucking love that show.
Glad I made
Seasons
it.
1 and 2 were like such great like plot lines, and you never saw anything coming, and like the Young Justice team like completely like outpaced the villain team, and it made me like, I already loved Vandal Savage, but this show made Vandal Savage like the coolest fucking villain on the planet. I love him so much, and like it made me really deep dive into DC comic world and learn a lot more about it. So I'm super appreciative of Young Justice, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Awesome. Anyone from the Peanut Gallery want to chime in on Young Justice?
Oh, it's just everything that he said is so true about it. I know Witty likes this one too, so I'm sure she'll have a
Oh,
comment
yeah.
or two to throw in there. But holy moly, the last season of Young Justice, especially, like, talk about a show that never lost its steam, never lost its stride, even though it was canceled for multiple years and had to be brought back by a fan campaign because that many people loved Young Justice.
Yeah.
So, great
Thank you for
show.
that.
Easy to watch through from start to finish over and over again. Like I think Retpmus was saying earlier, maybe that was before we started recording, like, you want to pick shows that are easy to rewatch because those are your favorites because you're going to want to see them again. I can sit down and watch a whole season of Young Justice on the binge anytime because they're all great.
I also love how they kind of adultized it in season 3 and 4, where like they literally murder motherfuckers. They like
Oh yeah,
chop them in half. They hook them and bloody them, and like it's gory. And
the
I'm
show
like,
grew up with its audience.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. It's phenomenal.
I also like the character deaths have meaning, but I'll let Witty go. Sorry to cut you off there. Go, Witty.
No, I was gonna say we were all waiting for another season. I mean, they said it would be canceled, giving all the DC changes they're going through, but we're still waiting for another season. And I think they could easily continue it because it has nothing to do with the movies and the new shows they're gonna pick up. And it's very easy to succeed in an animated universe because they've built it up so well, and every character's story entwines with a storyline for each season, and it goes and it builds up from there. I think they could go for years, and
Oh,
they have
yeah.
an audience for it. So
I'd watch it.
me too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Excellent pick, Tewty. Biff, what's your number 2, buddy? Give me your number 2.
Much like you, this was the show that got me into everything. Actually, my number 2 and my number 1 are kind of the 2 shows that got me into the world of DC. But my number 2 is Challenge of the Super Friends. Super Friends versus the Legion of Doom. That's where I fell in love with villains. This cartoon, I fell in love with villains. That's why I love Black Manta, Scarecrow, Toyman, Bizarro, Gorilla Grodd. Those are probably my all-time favorite any hero or villain right there. All of those names I just threw off, and they were all from that show. And just the voice of that guy. the narrator of that show was just fantastic.
Meanwhile, at the
Meanwhile.
Legion of Doom.
Right. And that show was so much fun. And
Yeah.
I just recently they finally got the figures toy company, the toy company that I just finally allowed me to complete the set because they made the last one that they made Hawkman finally came out. It got delayed by COVID, and so I finally just completed the series with a lot of superheroes you will never see again due to racial implications. But there
Yeah.
is, just that cartoon was just so good.
Are you talking about Apache Chief?
Apache Chief, Samurai,
Samurai? Yeah.
Black Vulcan,
Yeah.
all that. But when names you don't see again unless you
Right.
watch that cartoon.
Right.
So that was my Saturday morning of my childhood.
Look, I don't want to take a lot of time, but I do want to ask the question, why were those characters bad? Is it because they were trying to stereotype them? I thought they were just trying to include another culture in the series to represent another.
I don't look at it as bad, by the way. I just look at it as today.
Right. I was just trying to
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
why that was bad because, you're saying I'm going to include Native Americans, I'm going to include,
I
Asians in my storyline.
I think it's the portrayal. Like,
It
okay,
is the
you
portrayal.
want to include them, but then you include them with like the most exaggerated stereotypes you possibly
I
can.
loved Apache Chief. I thought he was a badass.
Apache.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree, but again, I can see the other side of it if you're part of that culture and that's how you're being portrayed.
You are correct that they were
Okay.
over the top with their stereotypes.
Yeah.
Understood.
With these things. I don't think it was bad. I think it's just more today's day and age.
I think the problem is that there's only one, there's not a lot of Native American superheroes, and they got like the one, and that was all they got basically. And then that singular character became the definition for a lot of non-Native Americans of what a Native American acts like and is. But at the same time, like, white people have a plethora of characters who all have their own personalities and dysfunctions and dynamics that give them depth past their
Culture.
heritage.
I think their heritage, like what they look like on the
Yeah.
surface.
Exactly. And I think that's part of it.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But that show is just absolutely tremendous.
Yeah. I love it myself.
It's when I started going towards kind of the villain side because I just enjoyed the Legion of Doom. I enjoyed every character in that one, in that version, and yeah, good stuff.
All right. Retpmus, what about your number 2?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people won't like this one, but to me, it was 2014 show, only lasted 13 episodes, but I just love the supernatural genre, anything to do with demons and magic and someone that, has like a cult following, and that would be Matt Ryan as Constantine.
Yeah, and that one got cut off mid-season.
Yes. It was able to be continued in Legends of Tomorrow. They finished out the storyline though.
Right,
They did.
right.
But I absolutely love that. And I was like, how good is it? Or was this just nostalgia? I want to go back and actually watch this again to see if it was as good as I remembered. And I felt it was better. The special effects of like the magic and when you see all the demons and stuff coming, some of it looked almost like a high budget Hollywood movie on certain scenes. And that was a normal TV show.
Doesn't the Spectre briefly appear in that one too? Like he goes to shake like Corrigan's hand and he gets like a flash or a vision of the Spectre or something like that.
If it was very quick.
Okay, maybe I'm confusing it with Swamp Thing. Maybe that was in Swamp Thing. It happened in one of them.
Right. I just love the story. I thought it ended way too soon. It was very well done, very well acted. If you go back and you just watch the actors themselves portray their characters and the emotions that they go through, it is very well done. It's not like the here's an episode every week of semi-talented actors. It was just very well done. It was very high production quality. And it holds number 2 just because I just love it. And I just think Matt Ryan is Constantine.
He does a really good job.
I think he did a good job in the past. I think if they were going to do Constantine again, I think they should get a new character, a new actor. I think he's aged out of the part. I think I didn't really like his portrayal in Legends of Tomorrow as much.
I didn't either. I will agree 100% on that. I did not like him as well. I just liked the fact that he was able to finish out a story. So
Right.
we got to see the ending to the show that was cut off. I'm glad that they paid tribute to that. But then it turned out, it seemed like it was kind of turning into, well, this is a Legend of Tomorrow show, but we're going to focus on Constantine only and everybody else are sub characters. It felt like it went that route for a long time. And
Yeah.
it kind of made me
Yes.
dislike it a little bit because of that. I mean, I love the character Constantine, but when I watch a show like Legends of Tomorrow, I want to see the spectrum of characters. That's what draws me in, this whole cast of everybody. I don't like it when they just focus on one character for a whole season, spread it out a little bit. And that's why, like Doom Patrol, like Sekju was talking about, yeah, they focused on individual characters, but they did it so well that it was spread out between all of the characters and you got super in-depth character development. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Constantine, loved the original series. Wish it could have continued on its own because I'm sure it would have been different than what we saw in Legends of Tomorrow. But it holds a number 2 spot for me. I love it.
Nice. How does that series compare to the film that they did with who is it?
Keanu
Keanu
Reeves.
Reeves. That's what his name is.
They're apples and oranges.
Are they?
Yeah,
I
hate to say it. I love Keanu Reeves. I love all his movies,
Right.
even some of the bad ones. But Matt Ryan, the original series of Constantine is way better than the movie with Keanu Reeves in it, the first movie.
Right.
Way
Yeah.
better. It doesn't even compare. That the TV series blows it away.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie Constantine, so I just thought I'd ask.
It's okay. It's just okay. It's not horrible. I mean, I
Right.
could watch it, but it just seems something's like missing. I heard that they were supposed to be making a part 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope
That all
not.
fell through.
Okay.
Very good. Thank God.
Yeah. It just, to me, it felt a little empty. It was just, I don't know. There was something really missing from the movie to me. I'm still having trouble figuring out exactly what it is, but the series had everything I wanted. I mean, it had, it just had more depth to it.
Right. Yeah.
I like the movie for personal reasons. We used to play a smoking game called Smoking with Constantine. So every time we lit up a cigarette in that movie, we'd smoke a bowl. I can now tell you how high we got.
I
Like,
believe
There's
it.
a lot of smoking in that movie.
You hot box your mom's bedroom doing
Oh,
that shit?
well, that was college, It wasn't,
College, your dorm room. Okay.
Dorm room.
Dorm room.
Blowing it into the paper towel thing stuffed with dryer sheets.
Does that work?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, at least our RAs didn't care enough to bust us. So they smelled smoke that was scented with dryer sheet.
I'll have to.
I can't remember the guy's name. I just wanted to throw this out there real quick. I think it's his first name. I think it's Peter, but I think it's Stromer or Strome that played the
Okay,
Talking about
devil.
the guy that
Lucifer.
plays the devil.
Yeah, he was cool. He was really
Yes.
cool in the Constantine movie. I liked him.
Yes. He's awesome in pretty much everything he's in. Wasn't that
All right.
same actor, the Chernobog, in what was the one that was on Stars that got canceled? That was a comic book movie. American Gods.
Yes,
I think
I believe-
he played the Chernobog in that.
yeah, he was definitely in that. He was. Yeah,
Okay.
because I was always like, what the heck is this CZRNOBOG character? I was like, what is that name? I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It was so weird spelling. I was like, CZRN? I was like, but after I watched it, I found out what it was. It was like a Slavic god or something.
Yeah, Slavic god. Although they really, I think, were trying to confuse people into thinking he was like a version of Thor. But
Mhm.
anyway, getting way off track here.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Great
see if
actor,
we
though.
can take it over to Witty, who we're waiting for your number 2, Witty.
I think I kind of gave it away previously, but for me, it is The Boys. Unlike every other superhero TV show, it does not go down on its quality. It only goes up. Season 1 was great, but it only got better from there. And we get to see a world where it's not like it's a completely different from our vision of what a world would be with if superheroes existed. They would not be lovey-dovey like Superman. They would be like Homelander. And I'm sure that if in 2024 someone got superpowers, we would have The Boys rather than Justice League.
Yeah.
And that's what does it for me. It's so real. It's so brutal,
Yeah.
And I think they've done something completely different. It's a superhero genre, but it's completely different from any superhero show you've ever seen. They make it so real, and that's it really does it for me because it's super different, super gory, and they've done things that from episode to episode they go up on quality on that surprise factor, and you never know what to expect. And for me, I think it's a clear number 2, and it just can't be the number 1 because my next pick it's the absolute best TV show from DC. Otherwise, it would be tough.
Wow.
See, when I first saw The Boys, I mean, when I first heard about it, I thought it was
It's so fucked up.
yeah, it's a fantastic
That's what does it for
show,
me.
but I thought it was a copy of The Watchmen because they're the ones that kind of first did it, where the guy that had the super speed, he was all commercialized. They made toys of him. He had an organization. They were doing the press. I mean, it was almost kind of like Vought did. And I thought it was just like, well, this show is just going to be a copy of that. They're just going to steal that little element and make this series. But when I saw it, boy, I was surprised, and I've loved every episode of it. It is a fantastic series. Great pick, Witty.
I agree.
It'll be interesting to see where they go with it, though, since they've departed so dramatically from its comic source material.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
curious to see where it goes. I don't want to spoil anything, but anyone that knows the comic knows it's a little off track.
Have you guys seen the spinoff that they did with the kids in school?
I did.
Even that was pretty good.
I agree. I thought it was a great tie-in. Like when you
Yeah.
think of like annual specials or tie-ins in mainstream comics, I felt like it fit that bill.
It didn't feel like, oh, we're just trying to cash in. It really had some depth to it. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Good choice, Witty. I like that choice.
I do too. I really do. And you're right, it is gory. You're not expecting it to be so different. And within the first minute of watching the show,
they did the thing that Marvel was too scared to do with Ant-Man, so
Yeah.
yeah. But fantastic pick. Mr. Sekju, what is your number 2? Give it to us, buddy.
I went for my number 2. I went with the more nostalgic classic route with what got me interested as Superman as my favorite character in the first place. It only had 1 season, but it was my favorite cartoon to the point where I actually snapped the
Oh.
VHS tape because I watched it so many times. And I actually didn't know that there were 13 episodes in the season because you could only fit 10 on the VHS tape. So, the Ruby Spears 1988 animated Superman was like literally the thing that got me into Superman as a character that I love. I watched it endlessly. It's the whole reason I went back and watched the Fleischer cartoons and watched every piece of Superman media that's available on Earth. So, yeah, that's what started it all. So I have to say that that's definitely my number 2. Only because, again, I don't know if Witty and I are going to pick the same thing here for our number 1s. We'll see what happens. But I think my number 1 is the single best thing that DC's ever put out. But it's kind of hard for me to describe, but I'll wait till I get my chance to say it. But yeah, definitely number 2, Ruby Spears, 1988 Superman. It's only 13 episodes. Lex Luthor, and it's corny as hell. A lot of the villains are corny as hell, but it's such a fun representation of Superman, and it really just inspired me to love the characters. So that's why it's my number 2.
Nice. I admit I've not heard of that. I don't think I've.
I agree with Sekju. It is fabulous. Even the animation quality is so smooth. It kind of reminds me, if you go back and you look at the old like Snow White that Disney did, like how it was all hand drawn, but how smooth the animation was. It was almost like they had an actor on there and they traced over it because it was like so smooth and well done. The Ruby Spears has done that same way. I mean, it's so smooth, it's hard to believe that someone actually hand drew those frames of animation. When I first saw it, I was just like, this is great. And I actually was able to pick up, I think it was the first 6 episodes at the Walmart value bin for $1. They had like the dollar DVD, and I just grabbed it, brought it home. My son and I watched it. We were like, man, this is really cool. So we like tracked down the other episodes. We watched them all. It is very good. You get a chance, AB, definitely watch it. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah. If you're a Superman fan and you haven't seen them, you absolutely should look them up and watch them.
Very nice. I just may do that. I've been writing them all down over here on my notepad, by the way. So
it really does kind of play homage to Christopher Reeve because it's in that same type of feel in a way. Would you agree with that, Sekju?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you just feel like it's a cartoon version of that same movie Superman from the Christopher Reeve era movies, just in a cartoon. And I think that's done intentionally.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but it's great. I mean, I'm sad that it only had 13 episodes because it was so good. You wish there was more.
Yes, definitely. Definitely great. The complete first season is on Amazon Prime, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's to purchase. I don't know if it's available for free if you're a Prime member, but I do see it on Amazon. I have to look around. I would like to just get a really high quality collection of all of them.
Yar, you'll have to sail into Pirate Bay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Apple TV. It looks like there might be on Apple TV.
Oh, cool. There you go.
Season 1. There was only a season
There's
1.
only
Yeah,
one
there's only one
season,
season as far as I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
they have all 13.
Fantastic. That's great. I don't have Apple TV's the only fucking streamer I don't have though. God damn it.
You know what? Their shows are top notch. I mean, probably the best production value of any networking that I've seen done so far. It's just, you got to see it. I'll talk to you about some of the shows later on, Sekju, so we don't take time up here. But I can suggest some shows to you that you will not believe it's a TV show.
Okay. Cool. I'm down.
All right. Where are we at?
AB, get us
Oh,
with
it's my
your number
turn.
2.
Okay,
Yes.
it's my turn. My number 2. So this pick is it's not going to be controversial at first until you hear what my number 1 pick is, but is Bruce Timm's Justice League.
That's not controversial at all.
It's
No,
not
not at
controversial,
all.
right? Not until you hear my second answer, right? But no, Bruce Timm's Justice League is perhaps, in my humble opinion, those 2 seasons, the most perfect, well-balanced, interesting, and fruitful episodes featuring those characters, those DC property characters that I've ever seen in my life. They are the crucial, definitive versions of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. In my brain of brains, in my mind of minds, that's where I see them. I fell across this. This is very similar to the Batman Begins story. I was, you got to remember, I was in the Navy for a long time, so I never watched a lot of these things when they originally aired. And I was laying on my sofa one night, flipping through channels, again, as I used to do. And I come across a cartoon that I've never seen before on Cartoon Network. And it was, it had just started. I think it was the episode called Hereafter. The one where Superman was blasted by the Toy Man and everybody thought he was dead, but he actually wound up going to a future version of the Earth where he met up with Vandal Savage and had to recreate the time machine to get him back to his regular time. And I thought that was fantastic. And I remember being so disappointed too, because I was up on the couch. It was probably 11:30 at night. And the first episode ended and it said to be continued. And I'm like, what? No, no. I have to know what happens now. And thankfully for me, the second episode was on right after, and it just played through. But I remember that it was midnight that night, and they didn't have any more episodes. And I thought to myself, this has to be on DVD. And I drove to Target at midnight and bought it on DVD so I could come home and watch the rest of it. It was that awesome. It was that good.
This must have been a long time ago.
It
You're
was.
usually in bed by 9:30.
Oh, I end up, dude. Yeah, not usually in bed now. But yeah. No, I was up. I used to be a night owl, believe it or not. But no, I drove all the way to Target and I bought the damn DVDs and I brought them home and I started plugging them into the DVD player, just watching them. I fell asleep on the couch, for God's sakes, that night. But yeah, that's my number 2 pick, Justice League, Bruce Timm's Justice League. I personally don't think there's a better, well, there might be one better rendition of the Justice League out there. We'll talk about that on my number 1. But yeah, that's me. That's it. I don't want to dwell too much on the past, unless you guys have anything you want to add to that. But I love that show. God, I love that show so much.
It was fantastic. Still is fantastic.
Yes, and that's the thing. I watch it today, and it still holds up. You know, Biff just walked away, so I'll say this while he's not here. But I can't watch Super Friends.
Oh yeah.
Over again today because it's just so schlocky. But I can watch Justice League. I can watch Bruce Timm's Justice League all day long. As a matter of fact, I sometimes do. So Biff didn't get her feelings hurt, and I was able to espouse my true feelings.
Oh, well.
Oh,
And he's back.
just a quick debate. Shh, he's back. He's back. He's back.
He's back. He's back. Shh, shh.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on? This is a long show. I need a couple of drink breaks.
Yeah, you need a couple of drink breaks. I gotta look.
Shout
I'm
out
glad
to Jamin while he was over there.
yeah, glad my phone hasn't started beeping at me yet, telling me you need to go eat something. Yeah, I know. No, so that was it. That was number 2. Now we are all set to reveal our number 1 picks. So let's make it a good one, and we will start back at the top of the horn with Mr. Tewty. What is your number 1 favorite?
I'm
DC TV
blessed
show?
with the first spot.
You are.
Thank you.
You are.
This is I'm curious to know if it's somebody else's number 1, but it is the original 2003 Teen Titans. There were 5 seasons. The writing was impeccable. They covered so many topics in such a great way. They covered bullying, racism, knowing your limits, like basically teaching children all of these important like adult concepts in the most well-written way to make you actually empathize with the characters. And they built so much great depth with all those characters. And granted, it did feel like the love connection between Robin and Starfire drug out way too fucking long. Like, just fucking fuck already.
Yes.
I loved that show with so much passion. And they took every single character and made them great. Just like in Doom Patrol, like every episode was phenomenal. And I was really upset and sad, like a lot of people were, when Teen Titans Go came out, because they were like riding the coattails of regular Teen Titans. And I personally have not watched that show. I've heard, you know, the kids these days find it great and amazing. I just don't know if it could ever reach the heights of the original 5 seasons of the Teen Titans. So, and it put it on the radar for all of us. I think, like, not all of us. There's, you know, comic creators that love the Teen Titans as it was, but like, I was a child at the time. What was it? 2004 it came out, 2003, right? So I was 6 + 3. I was 8 or 9 years old at the time. So I was incredibly young when that came out. And I loved it so much. That was my favorite show. It surpassed Yu-Gi-Oh! It surpassed Naruto, like all these like Saturday morning cartoons I watched, Digimon. It was the best. It was the best.
Yeah, I almost guarantee nobody is putting Teen Titans Go as their number one pick
Right.
here. So
I hope I would slap all of you in the face.
Well, no, I don't.
Want you stole mine.
Did I? Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, maybe somebody is. I don't want to insult anybody, but I mean, I agree with you, Tewty. The difference in quality is night and day. And
Right.
by the way, yes.
And like I will say the fact that Deathstroke was their primary villain for like the vast majority of the series as
Right.
well was a little long term. They could have done a little bit less with that, but
yeah,
all the Trigon episodes were great. You know, Raven got her white outfit. Like, it was great. It was really good.
nice. I agree. Biff, what is your number one favorite? As if we couldn't guess.
I'm sure everyone is on pins and needles right now. It ties into a couple things that was just said by the last two people that spoke, Tewty and AB. Teaching, cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, it's Batman 66. It's what made me love DC. That along with the Super Friends cartoons. I said this on shows before. I think Adam West taught me more about being a good person than my parents did. Although it was, a little over the top and goofy. He taught life lessons. He made me look two ways before I crossed the street. You got those fantastic big bubbles of Kapow, Biff. You had the cliffhanger where they were caught. Like, how are they ever gonna get out of this, Mom? I have no idea. Like, they're about to be cooked in a life-size pizza oven. Like, what? How the heck are they gonna get out of this tomorrow night?
Sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
Yeah.
I mean, lasers.
Yeah, just truly, the world's greatest detective version of, having to. The villains were fabulous. Burgess Meredith, Cesar Romero, Julie Newmar. I mean, just iconic representations of the villains, and they always brought in famous people. Liberace was a villain on this show. Like, they brought in these Vincent
Price, I think is what you're gonna say. He's the egghead, right?
Played Egghead. They took people from that time period that were very famous, and it was considered very prestigious to be asked to be a Batman villain on that show. Famous. If you look at the list of superstars, Oscar winners, household names that were asked to be on that show, and love doing it. It's the most pure version of Batman as far as just wholesome, I should say. And it was what started my DC journey.
Did anybody call that coming?
I never saw it coming.
Literally foreshadowed that.
I thought he was gonna do Teen Titans Go, honestly.
Yeah.
It took me by surprise.
It's by Adam West. Oh, he's gonna pick Batman 66.
It is still. It's by the way, one thing I will say, it is okay. I can't say unequivocally, but in my humble opinion, the greatest Batmobile of all time.
No,
I know.
Yeah, it's a pretty slick car.
Some people don't. I mean, a lot of people will go with 89. But I will argue that
she's sexy. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
it's the windshield that gets me. It's like the.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the? I forget what show it was, but they actually got all the Batmobiles and had them race for real. And the 66 version beat them all.
Nice.
In an actual race.
I have not seen that though.
Yep. I'll see if I can find the clip for you and shoot it to you. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, well,
No.
Keaton's Batmobile was not meant for racing. That thing is not designed to be a horse. Like,
But
I think
so that
Jerry the
is
King
my
Waller.
number one. I know everyone was just couldn't wait to hear what I was going to come out with.
That's right. I think Jerry the King Lawler owns one of the original Batman 66 Batmobiles.
Oh, wow.
So,
By the way, and although AB went a different direction of his first memory as a young boy, AB went the cross-dressing route. When Batgirl was introduced, it was kind of my first moment of, oh, that's what a lady look. That's the little tingle in your pants thing.
Heard it here. This sexual awakening.
Yeah,
Batman
was
66.
What?
Yvonne Craig portrayal of Batgirl was my first foray into seeing women in a different way.
I'm googling it. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's hot.
Yeah. No,
It's,
Yvonne
it's
Craig
skin
is,
tight, and she's
yeah,
beautiful.
she is. She is
something
dreamy.
else.
I like the reflective, sparkly suit.
Yeah. No, that is my favorite representation of Batgirl as far as like the outfit. I think that's the Batgirl's best look.
So there
my
you
number
go.
one.
You heard it here first, folks. Breaking news. Biff had his first little
Boner.
boner. Oh my God! All right.
There's a porno out there where Adam West biffs somebody with his boner.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
I'm
Sorry.
sure Biff has it somewhere in his basement.
Oh yeah, it's in his collection.
I've seen some weird collections stuff out
All
there on
right.
the old interweb.
Oh my God. Anyways, the less we think about Biff's wiener, the better. Let's move on to another fantastic topic. Let's see. I want to know what Retpmus's number one is.
Oh yeah.
What is your number one, buddy?
All right, this is going to be out there for you guys, but this is a show from 1990. Lasted 22 episodes.
I
might
hope
know
he's
what it
gonna say
is.
what he thinks he's gonna say.
I might
John
know.
Wesley Shipp's
Yes.
Flash.
Flash.
Yes.
It is my favorite show. It just John Wesley Shipp just portrayed the character so well to me. The outfit that they created for the Flash, I think it's better than the current version of the Flash, and it was back in
Yeah.
1990. It is one of the most well-designed superhero suits I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Except for
Amanda,
the face.
except for what?
The face.
Face.
The mask looks weird to me, but the body looks great.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, it had characters. Mark Hamill was in it
Oh
as
yeah.
the trickster.
The trickster. I love him.
Yeah. You also had the character Nightshade that was in it, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Jerry Ryan had a guest appearance on one of the episodes, and the only reason this show failed, it wasn't because the ratings were bad. It was really too expensive. I think like the suit itself had to have like liquid cooling built into it to keep it cool, because it was like a full body molded suit, and they were like $1 million a piece. And they made the stupid decision to put this up against the Cosby Show.
Oh.
So back in the day, if people don't know, Bill Cosby was like the shit. I mean, he owned everything. I mean, he was the man.
This is before
and-
he raped everybody, or maybe during.
Right. Right. He was the one who was like Mr. Wholesome, lovable, picture perfect father type character on TV. And everybody loved him. And to go and try and put something against like one of the number one rated shows at the time was just suicide for any show, because they originally did that with The Simpsons. They were having The Simpsons compete against The Cosby Show, and they were losing ratings so bad they had to move The Simpsons out of the time slot. And Simpsons are still here, but it could have been canceled if they kept it in that time slot because it was doing so bad, but yet they threw The Flash in that same spot. How is it going to compete against it if The Simpsons couldn't have? So that's what ultimately led to the demise of the show. But the acting was great. It wasn't even cheesy. I mean, normally, not to say anything bad about Batman, because it's meant to be that way and goofy, and it fits and makes that show lovable and great. But a lot of other shows tried to mimic that, and it just made the shows bad. Yeah, but this one, took a serious tone. It was more like a Gotham type environment.
What was inspired by, I was reading an article that said that it was inspired by the 89 Batman, kind of like the tone is what inspired the tone.
Like Tim Burton's.
Yeah, the whole Tim Burton aesthetic.
Yeah. And I really loved it. It's just one of those shows that I can go back and I can still watch today. And I'm just, it stands the test of time for me. This is this 90s. This was 1990.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the benefits of CGI and computer effects. So almost all the stuff had to be done practical. And you know, just trickery of the special effects department, you know, to draw in special effects like the lightning and things like that. But they did such a fantastic job. I remember there was a prison scene where all the inmates of this prison are breaking out and the Flash rushes in and there's like 3 of them standing there and you see him use his super speed and he like does a hook punch to one guy's face, uppercuts him, and then the next thing you know, he's over to the other guy on the left doing the same thing to him, hitting him like 3 or 4 times, and then hitting the guy in the middle, and you just see him going, like that. But you see him moving, and they're just standing still. And it was just so cool to see that the way they did it back then. It still holds up today, even though you know it's kind of cheap special effects, but that's what it has, that nostalgic value to me, and I just really, really enjoy and love the show.
Yeah.
You know who was awesome in that show?
Who?
His best friend Julio.
Oh, Julio was awesome.
Julio.
Right? Julio!
I forgot all
Yes.
about him. Yeah.
That guy was the man. I love that show. I'm so glad you picked that one. Again, this was a really hard thing for me to put together because there are so many shows I loved, and I wanted that one to be in my top 3, but I'm so glad you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Alex Desert, I think's his name, or Desert was the character's name, Julio. Yeah, I really liked Julio. He was funny. But yeah, and Amanda Pays, I think she was like one of my first childhood crushes, big time, because I thought Tina McGee was so hot with her.
Just love that accent.
Yes, that's what I was saying. That British accent on her at the time. I was like, man, she sounds so nice. But of course, you know, I was young, kind of like BIFF, you know, how, you know, you were introduced like that. I just thought she was extremely hot. Just the voice is what did it for me, because I don't think I saw any other actresses that had, you know, a British accent on TV. And you know, it was just really
you were a lot older in the 90s than I was in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Very true. Very true.
This was not a sexual awakening for Retpmus.
No, it wasn't.
This
I
was
just
a
thought,
sexual reminder.
yeah. That's it. Love the show. Fantastic show.
Yeah, I agree, buddy. I own it on DVD myself.
Yes.
It is one of the most underrated. I always said it was one of the most underrated Flash DC shows. Never mind Flash shows, but DC shows of all time. But
It was so set up for a great second season too, and then it just didn't get it.
Yeah.
What happened to the Flash after 1990? It has been a fucking hot mess since.
Oh. Wait, no, we had 2 good seasons of Grant Gustin, at least 2 really solid, maybe 3. It's debatable on 4.
Yeah. All right. Witty, I want your number 1 show.
My number 1 pick is Sandman. I don't know if that's gonna be Sekju's
nice.
pick, but for
No,
me
it's not,
that's
that's a good one.
no. Okay, good.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, the level of production is crazy. It doesn't even feel like you're watching a TV show. That's Neil Gaiman's baby coming to life, and I believe that a big part of of its success is that it was part of it, and he was the one behind the wheel, and he didn't let anyone ruin it. We got to see Dream's journey from his imprisonment to him coming back to a completely unbalanced world. And trying to get back his tools and setting back that balance, as well as many side stories and all the other stories with the side characters tie in perfectly and so smoothly with the main arc. And I mean, it was a great show from beginning to the end. We got to see Dream, Death, and Desire, and I'm very hopeful that the next season we will get to see the other brothers in action. That's my main goal for season 2. I've been waiting for it I think for 2 years now. It should be out late this year, I guess. So that's the one thing I'm holding out for, the next season of The Boys and the next season of Sandman.
I'm glad you picked that one, Witty. That was
So am I.
Yeah,
it
I didn't
was
see
very
that
Oh,
coming,
it's
much
but
on my
fantastic.
that's
list.
a great choice.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
see that coming.
And as big as a fan as I am of Constantine, having like Joanna Constantine on there, you know, as a gender swap didn't bother me at all. She is such a great actress,
I
Jenna
get
Coleman.
I get why they did it. I would prefer if they kept Constantine, but at the time,
Yeah,
I mean, everyone was praising what's his name? Your Constantine dude, what's his name?
Matt
Matt
Ryan.
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 Matt Ryan, yes. Everyone is praising Matt Ryan, and have him introduce the guy from Legends of Tomorrow to something very serious like Sandman wouldn't work.
No,
And I was okay with the gender swap. I'm usually not a fan of those, but yeah, it worked completely, and she did great.
I
So
Well,
agree.
she
no complaints there.
characterization. The thing is, they did the gender swap, but her characterization was still spot on. Like you could
Yeah.
just as
Yeah.
easily see John Constantine saying the exact same lines and doing the exact same things. So that's why it worked. I think is because they nailed the character regardless of the gender.
100%.
Right. I love that. I love that show. I can't wait for season 2 either.
Was she better than AB playing Wonder Woman?
Oh man, those
never
are
I'm
got to
not
apples
see
and
sure. I
that.
would
I
want to
oranges.
see
never got to
that.
watch that.
We would want to see that.
Wait,
I
what do
don't
you
know.
want to
He pulled
see?
off Marilyn Monroe pretty good.
Oh my
That's
God.
true.
You want to see me cosplay as Wonder Woman?
Oh no.
I do actually, yes.
Oh my God.
Say it.
Need to
Oh
set
my
up your own
God.
OnlyFans. I'd pay $1.
I'd buy that for $1. My God. Anyways, thank you, Witty. That's a fantastic number one. I think all of us in agreement. As always, you have fantastic taste.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Sekju, what is your number one pick?
So my number one actually ties into your number two.
Oh,
Because I know they're considered three separate shows, but
you
if you watch
bastard.
Superman the animated series, it leads directly into and seamlessly into Justice League from Bruce Timm, which then goes into Justice League Unlimited. So the body of those, like starting with Superman the animated series, and again, I
Yeah.
know, Batman the animated series was what led to Superman, but they didn't really directly tie into one another. Like Batman
Mhm.
didn't lead directly into Superman. They
Right.
started concurrently.
Right.
Superman you can watch, and literally the last episode of Superman starts the Justice League show.
Yeah.
So for me, they're like one giant thing, and that is my favorite thing in DC, and I really think it's the best thing that is truly DC oriented. Now, having heard Witty's selection, I will agree that as far as quality of television production, that yes, The Sandman is absolutely the best thing that DC has put out in terms of overall quality from top to bottom. But in terms of the best thing featuring on our core heroes, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, the big seven, if you will, of
Right.
the Justice League. And again, I know it wasn't the traditional big seven, because you had Jon Stewart versus Hal Jordan and a few other things like
Right.
that. But I still think the portrayal is the best we've ever had. It's the easiest thing to go through and rewatch from start to finish. And again, I've done this recently and watched Superman the animated series the whole way through the end of Justice League Unlimited. It's just easy to do because it's all so good. So for me, that's why that is my number one. Obviously, Superman's my favorite character, and it does lead directly into it if you just watch it straight through.
Okay.
I do have to say about the Sandman, there are a few shows that we have that try to accomplish something, but that actually makes you feel like you are in his world. That you were there with that character, experiencing what he's experiencing. And I think that is one of the major draws to that show to me, because it just pulls you in, and it's great. And that is a fantastic choice, Witty.
It does. I mean, I don't want to take away Sekju's thunder, but I'm just gonna add this. I never knew about the comic books, like Neil Gaiman's books. I had no idea that that character even existed, and it was so easy for me to follow it and to emerge into that story and completely understand what it was about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
saying something.
And on Sekju's side, they are all fantastic. I have the box sets of every single one of them, from Batman to Superman to Justice League to Justice League Unlimited. I got every single one of those because they are top notch.
Yeah, they're good, but both you and him being Superman fans, it would be a an easy choice for both of you. I would say the both the Justice League and Batman the Animated Series. I would put those above it. I think Batman the Animated Series is like undoubtedly the best animated show from DC. It's such a good.
Oh
good classic.
We're going with our favorites, so
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
that's
yeah.
fine, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
no,
what I
I'm
was
not
saying. You
questioning
guys
that.
being Superman fans, it's like Biff saying he likes Batman, and
The
it's
Superman,
not exactly a spoiler.
yeah, that Superman animated was fantastic.
I
Yeah.
like what you said about how the incorporated multiple shows within the same storyline. Like that makes it in my like it kind of was one of the first universes built in a way where like you had to keep following for a massive story, which is fun in its own way. But then at the same time, like when one of those shows ends and the other one begins, maybe you don't know that the next one is just a continuation, and then they kind of lost a little bit of the audience at that point. Maybe I don't know, because I didn't watch all of that, as I don't remember much. I remember some episodes. I don't remember a lot of that show, unfortunately, but it was very good for what I do remember.
Yeah. Well, where are we, guys?
We're on you for number one for
Well,
you,
we're on me. Oh.
I believe.
Is
Yeah,
it Peacemaker?
No, it's not. No, it's
Isn't
not
it Naomi?
Peacemaker.
By the way, that was my number 5. If they got the season 2 out, it might have made the top 3.
No.
Canadian Tuxedo.
Yeah, Canadian Tuxedo. Funniest. That's the funniest line I've ever heard in a DC show.
I mean, I'm guessing people don't know. Do people know what a Canadian Tuxedo is? I know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's wearing all denim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
You're
a full
basically wearing like a
denim
jean
outfit.
jacket.
Yeah, he was
yeah.
in this grade school,
Yeah.
and he was talking as the superhero. He was talking in front of this grade school. He was in there for like, I don't know,
Career day. It was literally like career
yeah,
day.
bring a superhero to work day or whatever. And he's taking questions from these like little kids, and this girl wearing a denim jacket and denim jeans and everything raised her hand, and he just goes Canadian Tuxedo as to call on her. It was just so funny. Oh boy.
Oh my God. Well,
that John Cena.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was hoping that nobody else was going to pick this, and it's literally the pick just before me was Sekju going on about this. And the reason I said this was controversial is because of the reason that you said you see them as one show. I see them all as separate shows, right? So Batman the Animated Series, even though they can bleed over together, are not the same as Superman the Animated Series. And likewise, I see your point about the Justice League kind of being set up at the end of the Superman run, but I still don't see them as the same series because they have a different name. I mean, maybe that's where my mind draws the distinction. It's like Static Shock, you know. Technically, it's part of that universe, but I don't think of it as the same as Justice League, even though there have been crossovers with, you know, Static Shock, Superman, Justice League, whatever. So my number one show was Justice League Unlimited. And the reason I thought it was going to be controversial is because I thought, you know, for the same reason you did, people are going to think, well, that's the same show. No, it's not. It's two different shows. Because Justice League only features those 7 characters, whereas Justice League Unlimited is just that. It's an unlimited roster of characters at your disposal. And there are some fantastic stories in there, both short-term and long-term stories. One of my favorite is the, Jesus, you guys. We're seeing, somebody got married in Canadian Tuxedos or what?
Isn't that Britney Spears?
It's
Going on?
Britney
Is
Spears.
that Britney Spears and oh my
Justin
Lord.
Timberlake.
I don't think they got married. I think they just showed up to an award.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They just showed.
Yeah.
But they're not Canadian. I need a picture. I need a picture from like
An
Alberta.
actual Canadian in a Canadian
Yeah, I need-
tuxedos.
Yeah, I need like something from the,
Wow.
from Calgary.
Did you ask the Google?
But no, so and I'll stop talking now. But basically, Justice League Unlimited is my idealized, perfect vision of what a sprawling Justice League should look like, and for all the same reasons that Sekju outlined. It's what I think of in my head when I think of conceptual for Justice League, and I'll test it just like this.
Yeah.
When I read a comic book, the voices that I hear in my head narrating the comic book, reading the bubbles with them, are Kevin Conroy, are George Newbern, are these iconic voices. Michael Ironside are these voices that I hear when I read these comics, and there's a reason for that, because they're so ingrained into my head as the perfect idealized versions of these characters that I can't see them as anything else. So for that reason and that reason alone, it gets number one. Plus, I thought the stuff with Lex and Flash swapping brains was one of the best
Yes.
Oh,
episodes
yeah,
I've
that's
ever
great.
seen in my life.
I don't know who this is.
Right. Like, what did you
I have
expect?
No idea who this is.
Yeah, like, what
I
did you
at least I get
expect?
to see the Flash's secret identity.
Well, yeah,
Who the fuck is this?
yeah.
And AB, out of every single DC show that has ever existed, that show, the one line still sticks with me today,
Yeah.
where Superman says, "I live in a world of cardboard."
Yes.
Oh, I was just gonna. Yes.
Yes.
That's yes.
Taking
that
great
whole episode.
care not to smash
and
or hurt anything.
That actually, I was gonna say, to AB's credit, while I tried to say that the whole span of shows is my favorite, my single favorite episode of any DC show ever made is the finale to that Justice League
Yes.
Unlimited, that last battle with Darkseid, because
Yeah.
holy shit.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. And if you've never seen it, you should just watch that if you're not going to watch anything else. Or at least watch, I think the last 3 episodes are all one story. So watch the last 3.
Yeah. That's like I was saying, out of all the shows that still exist, that's the one where I was just like, holy shit. Just
Yeah.
like you just felt it,
By the way,
It's
Clancy
very-
Brown is Lex Luthor, by the way. I just want to say that.
Who was?
Oh, yeah.
Clancy Brown. He
Yeah.
is Lex Luthor.
Love Clancy Brown and everything.
Yeah. But
And also the greatest the greatest Lex Luthor ever was the Flash. Michael Rosenbaum voiced the Flash.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Hey, AB, I
He does
have
it in
a
a lot of the movies too.
AB, I have a riddle for you.
Uh-oh.
What do Gal Gadot, Burt Ward, Kevin Conroy, and Julie Newmar all have in common?
Give you a boner.
They-
Oh.
Kevin Conroy too. All right.
Yeah, they
I can see it.
they all turned down an opportunity to do a voice bit for
Oh, yeah.
AAD.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right. They did. They all turned it down.
We tried with all 4 of them.
Another distinction they can add to their
Yes.
whatever credentials.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, guys. I think we have had a very productive show. It's been a very long episode, and I'll leave it to you guys. I'm beeping over here. So, do you guys want to do a last word? You want
No,
to take it
let's-
around the
I'm okay.
horn,
I
or
think
can we? Are
we'll
we
say
just good to
goodbye,
end it?
everybody.
We've kept people's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
Okay. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure, but I didn't want to speak out of turn for everybody. So, thank you, panel. You've been very, very entertaining. You guys are awesome. My favorite people on the planet. And we all want to thank you, you, for taking the time to be with us today. Get on our website, AtlantisAfterDark.com. Grab some cool swag from the merch store. Get on our Discord and talk directly with us. And then hit that subscribe button on YouTube because you know you want to. For Tewtytron, for Sekju, for BIFF by Adam West, for Retpmus, and for Witty Amazon, we'll see you all right here next time for another awesome episode of Double AD. Take care, everybody.